can. Don't wanna see no blood, don't be a macho man. You wanna be tough, better do what you can. So beat it. But you wanna be bad, just beat it. Beat it, beat it, beat it. No one wants to beat it, beat it. Showing hot, funky, strongest shot fighter. It doesn't matter who's wrong or right, just beat it.
Last week, there was this whole Discord debate on who was the greatest artist of all time, Beyonce or Michael Jackson. See, one thing about Americans is they have this bad tendency of trying to remix history. Because I remember as a kid, Michael Jackson rarely toured in the United States. And I remember asking that question as a child. How come Michael Jackson always go on tour in Europe, but he rarely goes on tour in the US? And it wasn't until I did a quick Google search and realized Michael Jackson rarely toured in the US because Americans didn't fuck with him like that. He was not well received like that. He's the greatest entertainer of all times thanks to his global success, not American success. Because when he was alive, Americans didn't fuck with him. Because of that whole situation where he had to go to court twice for inappropriate relationships with a child he was accused of, right? And so he was slowly making his little comeback, but unfortunately, his untimely death took him out of the running because he was planning on doing a tour in 2009 before he died. I say all of this because I believe as long as Tyla builds her global audience, she's going to be fine. She will be all right. Keep your eye on the prize, work and grind, and do what you got to do. Because Black American women, along with Black Americans, let it be known they don't fuck with her. They don't rock with her, and that's okay. Build her fan base in South Africa, the rest of the African diaspora, Europe, the Caribbean, Central and South America, and leave the U.S. alone.
Yo, so we back in here for another edition of F-ya-Motha, and I meant to do this last week because it was trending, but y'all know I don't do this for the views. I do this for the money. Now let me take that back. Y'all know I don't do this for the money. I do this for the message. Now this bitch is clearly delusional. I don't know if she's in her early 30s. I don't know shit. What I do know is she's dead wrong talking about America didn't fuck with Michael Jackson. Then she skipped over decades, right? Like she literally went to his classic scandal of touching on kids. That was 1991 to 1993, and his trial date was subsequently I want to say spring of 1993. Then she jumped all the way to 2005 when he was recharged with false accusations once again that plagued his career. However, that was in 93 and 2005. She must be mistaken, don't know history, or is just plain dumb and ignorant because Michael Jackson has had a career since 1966. We'll just start with the 80s. I'm not even going to go into Jackson 5 because that was the group that don't count. But it says right here, Bad was his first solo concert tour by the American singer, or Bad was the first solo concert tour by Michael Jackson, launched in support of his seventh studio album Bad, 1987. The 123 show world tour began September 12, 1987 in Japan and concluded January 27th, 1989 in the United States. It goes on to say that it grossed over $125 million, making it the second highest grossing tour in 1980s after Pink Floyd's Momentary Lapse of Reason tour, and earning 2 new entries in the World Guinness World Records for largest grossing tour in history. But fuck all that. It's ended in America. So while she's saying that he didn't tour in America, even if it did start in Japan, it ended in America, meaning Americans fucked with him. And she's talking about as long as Tyla gets money in Brazil and the Caribbean and Africa and China, it don't matter about America. It actually does. We dictate if a person is actually viable throughout the world. If we don't say they hot and we don't fuck with them, they don't do numbers. So you could say all that shit that you want about Michael Jackson not being popular in America. Plus, on top of all that, you would have been like, she looks like she's like 34. You wouldn't even been born. If you were born, you were 10 or 5 or some shit like that. Clearly, you don't know the scope of Michael Jackson's like legacy. You were too young to even know. So the fact that you have an opinion on something that's not true, you know what I'm saying? He also has right here, after the Bad World Tour 87 to 89, during which Michael Jackson also toured the United States. This was after Bad. This was, what album was this? Let me say that. Oh yeah, it was. I don't know what the fuck is it. After the Bad World Tour, during Michael Jackson also toured the United States. On his subsequent world tours, in particular, so after Bad, Dangerous, he toured in the United States. What is this woman talking about? Clearly, she doesn't know the history of Michael Jackson. And she's talking about if you do a quick Google search. So I did one. It says, yes, Michael Jackson toured in the United States in the late 1980s, concluding the Bad World Tour in the United States in January 1989. However, after the 1990s, he largely ceased touring in the United States for his solo tours, performing only twice in Hawaii in the late 1990s as part of his History World Tour. So it wasn't that the people stopped messing with him. He actually cut out his touring in the United States. And it says, however, after the 1990s. So I'm assuming like 93, when he was accused of that BS. Yeah, they tried to throw some fake shit on him. The justice system was against him. The media was slandering him. And people in America was saying crazy shit about him. So he probably was like, F America. So he cut that out. It wasn't like the people stopped messing with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson stopped messing with the American people. Get that shit right. As it pertains to Tyla, stop comparing these generic ass second rate singers or entertainers to Michael Jackson. She gotta at least shine Beyonce's shoes and kiss Chris Brown ass before she's even in the running as anything comparative to Michael Jackson. We just gonna leapfrog Chris Brown, Whitney Houston, Prince, and go straight to comparing Tyla to Michael Jackson, which is non-comparable. Ain't nobody fainting over Tyla. Michael Jackson could stand at attention for 10 minutes and have people crying and fainting and all types of shit in the crowd. I have yet to hear Tyla. Matter of fact, I've only heard one song of Tyla. To be even compared to Michael Jackson, you at least need 5 singles that I can actually like name. I can't name 5 singles. She's a one-hit wonder. Stop playing yourself. And the reason black people don't mess with her is because when she went on the Breakfast Club and they asked her, did she identify as being black? And she looked over to her handlers. Yeah, nah. As black people, we don't jail with that. If a motherfucker asks you if you black and you can't say yay nay, like, we ain't fucking with you. Especially when you come from South Africa, where they had apartheid, and like the blackest niggas is in South Africa. But you got these Africans and these non-black people, non-black American people, that is, that want to be everything but black. They want to distance themselves from black when it's convenient. They don't want to, even though they got brown skin, they don't want to identify as, and black doesn't necessarily mean the literal color. It means it's a descriptor for dark person. These dummies need to go back to school. Yeah, that's why black Americans ain't messing with her, because like she rides on the coattail, just like Burna Boy, of being a black skinned person. But then when somebody asks them straight up, are they black, they want to distance themselves away from like what it means to be black. You're a dark skinned person, like, of color. Give it the times. We don't got time for playing the games. Michael Jackson, even with vitiligo and all that shit, he still identified as a black man. Even with his so-called children that were white, that he had in a test tube, he still identified as a black man. One thing I can say about Michael Jackson, he never forget where he came from. He knew he was black. White skin aside, perm, face surgery and all that. He knew he was black. All these new entertainers from other country, they want to be black when it's convenient, when it sells records, when it makes them popular. When somebody asks them straight up, are they black, and they stall, that's why we're not fucking with you. Because even Prince, as high yellow as he was, still, like, when people ask, he was proud to be black. You know what I'm saying? He didn't mince words. He actually went out his way to explain to people that while his mom was depicted as a white woman in Purple Rain, his actual biological mom was not white. Prince was not half breed. He was an 100% black man. He just was light skinned. But if you get all your information from television, you would know that. You would have saw the Purple Rain movie and thought Prince was biracial, which he was not. So yeah, like, that's why black people ain't messing with Tyla. Because when people ask her if she's black and she stalls, like, yeah, like, we don't jail with that. That's not cool. That lets us know that you ain't really with us. You want to be something else. And that's not to say that we want you to identify as a black American. We just want you to identify as a black person of color. You're not white. You have all these people that jump through mental gymnastics to be like, oh, I'm not black. Well, you damn sure ain't white skin. Sort of like Dominicans, they do it all the time. I know black. Well, you ain't no white. And we're not asking you to identify as a black American. We're asking you to identify as a black skinned person, a melanated person. If you can't do that, you don't get support. And you will never be bigger than Michael Jackson. And that's facts. In any event, if y'all like this episode, you know what to do, and I'm out.